Hello again. I am here in my super wood-filled cabin. Wood everywhere. Because today we are going to build. I think the sun is rising. It's great because that zombie saw me. As promised, today what we are going to focus on is adding to our home here and doing some landscaping, similar projects. I've been slowly grinding this salt. Getting more of it ground up for the day when we eventually have meat again. But for the time being, that's unimportant. Let us take some of these logs and head out here. So, this is the area I dug out that will have our metalworking shop. The ceiling to this one, I'm going to make one lower. So, you know, this is the door here, and the floor's going to drop one. Just like this door, floor drops one. And so the ceiling is actually going to start here, like so. It'll come out a level, and here, right? That is not correct. Don't think. Oh, actually, I think it is correct. It's just I dug out one too few levels here to make it easy to directly compare the two bases, or sorry, the two parts of this single base. So we will quickly dig this out, and then we can place some more of the wood. Though actually, now you've seen me do this before. I'm just going to come in and build out all these poles. I think I will do that off camera and show you what it looks like once I'm done. Okay, I have done quite a bit of work here. Let me show you what I did. First, I completed the basic outline for the metals area, and I'm making a couple of key additions here. So first, this is actually going to be just a door. I need to dig out the dirt in this area so that I can get out. I think it'll be nice to be able to go directly back here instead of having to go to the side and then turn. Second, I'm making something here. This is actually going to be an area for my pit kilns. Remember, that's how we fire our clay, and so I am going to have the ability to simultaneously run 3 pit kilns here. And I'm thinking, though, that I want to cover it with something other than wood in case the wood lights on fire. I would rather not have the whole building burn down. So what I think I'm going to do, running a little low on stone, but I think the thing to do is I want a trip to mine a little bit. Soon we're going to have to get to covering everything with dirt as we plan, because I am accumulating way too much of it. Okay, so if we're going to go on a mining trip, we have our pick, some wood. More importantly, we have some sticks. I think we'll probably need more sticks than that. Let's see. Fill up our water jugs. I think we're going to go back to the copper mine. 21 ladders. We'll see what we can do with that. This is looking pretty good, right? See all of this area. I'm actually debating whether I want an exit here. Maybe I'll put something different here. One of the things I need is a room to make charcoal. I was thinking I would put it over here, but might make the ground higher there, and I think I kind of like it where it is. I'll keep considering. Meantime, we'll pick up any sticks we find while we travel. Berry bushes I'm not particularly worried about. But wouldn't it be great if we happened to stumble across some jute? So the copper mine is right over here. You remember that it was kind of along the sides of a hot spring that was diving down into the ground. Yeah, here it is. So what we would like to do is dig out all this copper. In the meantime, collect as much stone as we can. This andesite here is something that we used a little bit in our build earlier, and I think we're going to want to keep using. Looks a lot like vanilla cobblestone, which has a, you know, place in my heart. So, my general strategy here, it turns out, is going to be somewhat uninteresting. I'm just going to dig my way down, getting all the copper I can. I will cut here and show you how I make out. Well, that takes care of that. Seems I got quite a few stacks of copper and quite a bit of stone as well. That will serve us nicely. Back at the base. Took a while, but I got it. I actually kind of doubt I see anything interesting on the way, so I will see you back home. Well, I have been somewhat busy. I got back to the cabin and decided I would work a little bit on this room here. As you can see, I've lined it with some of this smooth gabbro we get by chiseling gabbro. Hopefully this means that when I light the pit kilns, it won't, in turn, light the rest of everything on fire. I have also, and I realized I wanted to show you guys this, been doing a little bit of decorating. So I'm adding a mantle to our fireplace here, and I thought I'd show you how I do that. In TerraFirmaCraft, the chisel has many functions. You've seen me use it to make stairs before, and to smooth out some stone. But it can also enter a detail mode. If you right-click on a block, it will allow you to take away little bits of it. I believe each block is 8 by 8 by 8. So you can use that to make very detailed items. I'm using it here to make the mantle look slightly better. To be careful though, if you misclick, that's it. You have to break the block, start all over again. So, just even this out. Okay, almost there. There. 2 pillars holding up the mantle for our fireplace. Awesome. Let's see. I'm debating whether to do something else. I think, yeah, I might change up this area eventually. But for the time being, I do kind of like how that's looking. Well, I'm not certain, but it feels like it's probably about wrapping up time. So I am going to check on that. And if it is, then this is goodbye. Till next time. Otherwise, I'll be right back. Well, I was very wrong. We only have about half an episode so far. I apparently am not used to doing so much off camera. I need to find a way to keep a timer going while I'm recording these, I think, that only tells me how much time I actually have recorded so far, instead of how much I've played. Well, there is plenty to do in that case. And I think the next thing we're going to want to do is plan out our metal room a little bit more. So as you can see, we've got a place for a pit kiln, but that's not the only metalworking thing that we will need to fit into this room. Once we move on to metals other than copper, we'll have to use a forge to work with them. And the forge is actually kind of an interesting multi-block structure. So let's get started on just laying out how the forge will be. I want the forge a little bit away from the wall. what it is we'll put a block of coal here in the middle. That's actually what makes it a forge. But then we can laboriously take out these logs. And you have to actually make a chimney for the forge to function. Within 1 block horizontal, or maybe 2 blocks horizontal of the actual coal block that we'll end up putting in the center of this, you need an opening to the sky. So what we are doing here is making room for that opening. The forge, I think, also gets hotter faster if there are at least 2 open layers of air above it. So if we took these 3 blocks out, them down, that will allow us to make our forge. It might actually need stone on the bottom. I don't recall, but we will put one there in case. Okay. Now we can do back our chimney here. These stone blocks. And then bring it in like that. Let's see how that looks from the inside. I don't know whether I like that or not. Although I do plan on covering a great deal of this over with dirt. I think that chimney probably needs to be 1 higher. I am 1 short being able to complete that. But that's okay. I think that'll look pretty good. And functionally, what this means is that here we will be able to heat our metals. And then what we will want next to that is an anvil. Your first anvil is always a stone anvil. Oh, it looks like our hammer might have broke. So, another, except I am out of sticks. Well, that is perfect. I would show you an alternative way to make sticks, but it requires a hammer, of course. Okay, so what this means is we must venture to the night to try to find a stick. Only need 1 so that we can keep working on. Oh my goodness. A single stick to keep working on our base through the night. And the random number generator does not wish to comply. There's one. Excellent. Back we go. I am going to have to set up a tree farm relatively soon because that is a good source of sticks. So if we make this hammer again, and that zombie's gonna come right down my chimney, I think. We have now made a stone anvil. Awesome. I want, however, to make a trapdoor. So for that, I need to take some planks. Yeah, just the same pattern as vanilla. The reason for this is that I can use it to cover that hole, so no zombies are going to come down and surprise us. The game treats that actually as an air block, so we do not have to worry about covering that up. Thinking about our additional needs in this metal room, I may actually keep this as an exit. I may like that for the time being, though. I should really cover that up, because otherwise someone's going to surprise us through it, a creeper, more than likely. The other thing that any good metalworking room needs is a charcoal pit. So, to make charcoal, basically put stacks of wood into an airtight room that's filled only with charcoal and a fire pit. When you do that, slowly but surely, the wood is converted to charcoal, which is used, among other things, to heat your forge. This is something that will be really useful for us, I think. And I think I'm going to put it in this wall here. Probably I'll put the door right here. What's nice about having it sort of adjacent to our forge is that it is adjacent to our forge. Oh. With that, we are out of meals, however, which means we must take a brief pause from what else we were doing for cooking with the Lethean. Let's get our food groups together. Let's see. Protein, vegetable, fruit, grain. Okay. We know we're going to be using oat bread. We know we're going to be using plums. We also know we're going to be using venison. So let's grab this vegetable as well. So last time we made sandwiches. I suspect what we learned from that is that it doesn't actually matter the order of the foods. That's just a way to get different amounts. You can see 10 ounces of the top one are used, 2 ounces of the bottom, 4 of the middle 2. So what we really, I guess, are learning is that we basically have a preference for each individual food. And because last time we used bread instead of an extra vegetable, I think, the previous time we had used carrots and garlic, I think. So we used bread. Actually, we switched quite a bit up. Okay, let's look to see what our options are. So we've got a lot of bread, so I think I want to use that as the big one. We know we're going to use venison, and we know we're going to use plums. So what we're trying to learn here is which vegetable is most delicious. We know onion is going to produce something that I believe was 2.5% delicious. And my sound was up. I'll turn that back down. So those skeletons burning don't distract us too much. Alright, I'd like to use some of these. Let's try bell pepper, cabbage, and green beans. So, when we use bell pepper, we get something that we hate. We don't apparently like bell peppers very much. When we use cabbage, we also get something awful. We do not much enjoy cabbage. If we use green beans, nope, beans are awful. Now, what we need to do is a control experiment. For that, I will take out our onions. This should, I think, produce something that is 2.5% tasty. And I'm correct. What this may mean, however, is that the only food among all of these we actually like is the onion. I am a little bit too excited by this finding to move on to something else right now. I think we need to do a few more tests while we have all the ingredients assembled. If we're to take this onion out and replace it with garlic, what do we see then? 4.25. So we prefer garlic to onion. Alright, if instead of garlic we use carrot, 2.75. Okay. I think we've almost made a finding. Tomato, 4.25. Okay. So what are the two biggest bonuses? Tomato was 4.25. Garlic was 4.25. Well, okay. That's been done for us. We just got enough decay. Oh my goodness, what happened? Oh, I'm starving. Okay. We will polish off one of these terrible meals so that we don't have to carry it around with us and start digging into another. Okay. So if I put garlic here in addition to the tomato, I expect that this will be 8.5% good. So it isn't that simple. You don't just like or dislike an ingredient. Something about the combination of ingredients is informing how they turn out. That is very interesting. I do not know exactly how to explain this phenomenon. But it appears there is still science to do. Next time we need to cook something, that is. For the time being, we can put away our ingredients and our extra meals. And finally, plum. Okay. Put our knife back up on its rack. While we're at it, thinking about our own needs, let's fill up our water jugs. When we check on our crops, they don't appear to be entirely grown yet. Maybe the carrots are. If I right-click them, nothing happens. I'm hesitant to dig them up yet. We have enough food currently, and as long as they remain in the ground, they don't decay. The only thing we need to make sure of is that we don't let them pop out when it first snows. Alright, so we've set up our chimney. The only other thing I want to do right now, I want to set up this room for making coal. And the reason I want to do that is so that we can finally go up and cover our house with the dirt we've been saving for that very task. So I'm going to dig this out off camera and probably go get more of that smooth gabbro. Yes, smooth gabbro. And then I will return when I have this laid out in that material. That Enderman got really mad at me. I just left the house to get a little more stone. And I broke one of the cardinal rules of Minecraft. I looked at the Enderman. I rushed to try to get back in to the house where I might be a little bit safer. And he knocked me around enough that I could not even make it through the door. He was very angry at me. Okay, make sure I have pretty much everything before the zombies come. Okay, let's see what I've got and what I don't. Okay, I have my pick. That's great. I have my chisel. I believe those were the only metal tools I had on me, which is fantastic. So I did not lose anything of great value. Okay. So looks like I probably got everything back, actually. I have my meats. I have my extra vessels for carrying around things. Some logs. I do have everything that I was carrying, which is great. Let's see, now I just need to myself new crafting table. Great. I have recovered from my death. Wish they could all be that easy. So, I've mostly got this room completed. Just want to add a stone floor. And I think we will end the episode once I do that, and I'll just add the coal and we'll get it running, or add the wood, get it running to make charcoal, and we will leave it at that. So I'll be right back once I have the necessary components for that. Okay guys, as you can see, I polished this room a little bit more, added some tool racks and shelving. This is simply because it got dark like every time I turned my back, and I had plenty of time stuck in here while the entire place was surrounded by zombies. But we're finally ready. I finished the floor, filled it up with some of the wood piles we had lying around the house, although I got a few more. We don't want to be without wood. In order to make this into charcoal then, need to light campfire and then quickly put a wood pile on top of it. The door can be open or closed, actually. But what should happen now is that campfire is going to start all of these wood piles turning into coal. The way to tell if we've been successful is to come on top. See these particle effects? Means that, yeah, we have succeeded. All of this is going to turn to charcoal the next several hours, which is great. That is exactly what we wanted. So, that's how you make charcoal. Once we have that, we'll be able to build our forge, which will not serve us too well yet. We might use the copper we've collected to start making better anvils. The anvils are one of the gates to basically continuing the metal progression through the game. So, for now, I think we're done with this episode. I will see you next time.